Alright, I have a little rhyme I invented here, and it's kind of silly, but I think it really helps us. And it is this: the sixth seal is a big deal. Huge. Usually when I see commentaries, they'll say the sixth seal is cosmic changes, and that's all they'll put. But it is a huge deal. And we're going to look at it here. It's such a big deal. I want to look at it for a minute. And this is pertinent to the rapture. All of this is. But for it to be a complete study, we have to go through the details and building the foundation. Okay? So let's look in Old Testament prophecy and New Testament prophecy about what happens, what the sixth seal is and what it means. But it is a big deal, and we'll see that. Look at this. And all the host of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled up like a scroll, and all their hosts shall fall down, as the leaf falls from the vine, and as the fruit falling from a fig tree. Now, is that not the sixth seal? Heavens rolled up like a scroll, falling from a fig tree. That's what what happens in the sixth seal in the King James Version. Okay. So look what's falling. Remember, I asked you, who are the powers that are being shaken? Who are the stars that are falling? The host of heaven. A host is not meteors. A host are beings, either people or angelic beings. The host of heaven shall be dissolved or broken up. Their host shall fall down. Wow. Something that's angelic in the heavens is being cast out or thrown down. Let's read on here. That's in Isaiah. Let's do a New Testament one from Luke. Christ says, and there will be signs in the sun, and the moon, and in the stars. Well, that's the sixth seal. The sun, moon, and stars. When the moon turns to blood and the sun is black and all that, the lights go out, the diminishing of lights. That's always the sixth seal when you read that. Christ says, you'll see that. On earth, great distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. Now, there's another place that talks about the sixth seal that says the earth will be turned upside down, and that it'll be moving out of her place in the skies, and that she'll reel to and fro like a drunkard. Man, scientists say that's something like a pole shift, and that if we had a pole shift, the earth could turn upside down in a matter of 30 minutes. Do you think that would cause some waves? I think I read somewhere that would cause 30 mile high waves crashing on the continent, on the shores of every continent. Boy, that would make the sea and waves roar. Well, you know, when the earth, I don't mean if, I mean when the earth starts doing those things, men's hearts failing them from fear and the expectation of those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. There we go again with the powers of heavens being shaken. You know, if we could imagine, there is a heavenly reality or another dimension, or however you want to look at it, where the demonic and fallen angels and all the evil heavenly hosts led by Satan, that they exist in. Okay, they have access to us to tempt us in certain things like that, but they're not in our lower reality, are they? They're in some sort of heavenly dimension. Imagine if all of that host, if God were to suddenly shake them out and they would all fall and become real in our reality, and we would see them for what they are, not as angels of light, but actually see them, what they look like. And whatever they look, maybe they would look like the gargoyles and all that sort of thing. Man, imagine if God were to shake that out and they would suddenly be in our reality. Might that make men have heart attacks just from seeing that and from the expectation of those things which are coming on the earth? Do you see why people are having heart attacks just from seeing that? Now I want to say right here that Christians never have anything to fear. Okay? I don't want to go through these things and say that we don't have the power to resist, or we don't have... No, we do. Christ is with us. Always. Even until the end of the age. Okay? So I don't want to leave anybody with that impression, but look what's happening here. When the hosts are being cast down, wow, the powers are being shaken. Now, let's move on to Revelation. And I'll say it again, the sixth seal is a big deal. Satan wants us to think that this is an ancient war. Okay? But it's not. It's a future war. Has there been war in heaven before? Certainly. Look at all the planets, and you can see the scarring and the devastation. on them, and certainly there has been conflict and war in the heavens before, but this war is a future war. Let's read. And war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels fought with the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought. Certainly the dragon is Satan, right? So the great dragon was cast out to the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Whoa, so that's the host falling down. Those are the hosts that are being cast out. When does it happen? Sixth seal. When is the sixth seal? After the tribulation of those days. They were cast out. Now it's woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil has come down to you having great wrath, because he knows that he has but a short time. Do you see how that cannot be an ancient war? But he knows that he has but a short time. This is a future casting out. Has he been cast out of heaven? Certainly out of the realm where God's throne is. You know, we have this idea there's three heavens. There's the third heaven, which is where God resides in His holiness. The second heaven, which some people believe that's where Satan resides, because he's the prince of the power of the air. Then we have the first heaven, the one we're very familiar with, that we live in. But certainly Satan has not been cast out in this way. Certainly he has lost his place as the covering cherub that he used to have long ago. But he has not been cast out like this yet to the earth. Okay? So this casting out is yet future. Now you see why the sixth seal is such a big deal? Certainly is. Let's go ahead into the next verse here, the last one for the sixth seal. I just want to paint a picture here of what happens when the sixth seal is open. Here's a couple of verses from Isaiah. They shall go into the holes of the rocks and into the caves of the earth. Remember, we read about that already. From the terror of the Lord and the glory of His majesty, when He arises to shake the earth mightily. In that day a man will cast away his idols of silver and idols of gold, which they made, each for himself to worship. Wow. Apparently they were instructed to make idols of silver and gold and to worship them. Each one had to make it for themselves. I don't know why, but they each make it for themselves and they worship it. But now they're casting them down and running to the caves of the earth. Wow. So the sixth seal is a big deal. What I want you to notice about the sixth seal is that it is universal recognition. Everyone knows what's going on. There's no deception. You can't deny this. It's shock and awe. It's people know what's going on because they can see it, and they've been told what's happening, and they know it. Universal recognition. It's a time of great change and power shift. Okay, a time of great change here. So, if you can get in your mind a picture of that, of what the sixth seal represents and when it happens. We're going to do one more slide here and then stop the video, because we're going to put it on our timeline. When do those things happen? When does the sixth seal happen? Immediately after the tribulation of those days. Wow. In most charts, well, I'll go ahead and say it, in any chart I've ever found and looked at, I want to say most because I haven't looked at them all, they jam all seven seals up here in the beginning of sorrows, in what I've seen. But isn't it clear that Christ says the sixth seal will be after the tribulation of those days? This is very important, and we'll get to why it's important in the next video.